Welcome to today's SamvaadX News Podcast. Today is 19th April, and the time as we record this podcast is 7 a.m.
And I'm Raj Patel.
And I'm Priya Shah. Today, we're diving into a set of significant national and international developments that have unfolded.
Right. Let's maybe start with that call between Prime Minister Modi and Elon Musk. Happened yesterday evening, I believe?
Yes, exactly. And it sounds like it was more than just a friendly chat. Technology and innovation were apparently front and center.
Which makes sense, given the context. You've got Starlink, you've got Tesla. Both seem pretty keen on entering the Indian market.
Definitely keen. It feels like this conversation was, strategic, highlighting India's position as a place for tech collaboration.
Absolutely. And the potential impacts are quite significant. Think about Starlink first.
Yeah. Digital connectivity, especially in those really remote, hard-to-reach areas, that could be transformative.
It really could. Access to information, education, healthcare. It opens up a lot of possibilities.
And then there's Tesla?
Right, which isn't just about electric cars, though that's part of it. It ties into India's green energy ambitions, reducing emissions.
And the whole Make in India angle. If they actually start manufacturing here, that's a potential double win. Jobs plus advancing our environmental goals.
It really underscores India's growing pull, as a global hub for technology and, importantly, investment.
A key point. Okay, shifting focus a bit, domestically, there's been quite a significant bureaucratic reshuffle announced.
Yes, on Friday. Some really key ministries involved, changes at the very top.
So who are we looking at?
Well, Rajesh Agrawal is set to be the next Commerce Secretary, though he takes charge in October. He's currently additional secretary there.
Okay, so an internal promotion, looks like?
Seems so. Then you have Arvind Srivastava as the new revenue secretary, and Vunlamang Volnam moves into the expenditure secretary role.
That's finance covered. What else?
Bhuvanesh Kumar is now heading UIDAI, that's the authority overseeing Aadhaar.
Right, our digital identity system. That's a crucial role.
Indeed. And also, Mangilo Jat, noted as an agronomist, is the new Director General of ICAR, the Indian Council of Agricultural Research.
So trade, finance, digital ID, agriculture, quite a broad set of changes.
Exactly. And these aren't just names on doors. These appointments could signal potential shifts in administrative focus, maybe policy implementation down the line.
You mean like how taxes are collected or what agricultural research gets prioritized?
Precisely. It's worth watching how these departments operate under the new leadership. It gives clues about the government's evolving priorities.
Good point. Okay, now for something. Well, quite literally uplifting. An Indian astronaut is heading to space very soon.
Yes, fantastic news. Minister Jitendra Singh announced that IAF Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla is scheduled for space travel next month in May.
Wow. And the likely destination is the International Space Station, the ISS.
That seems to be the plan. And Shukla isn't just any pilot. He's a decorated test pilot. And significantly, he was also shortlisted for the Gaganyaan mission.
So this isn't Gaganyaan itself, but it's certainly a massive boost for it, right? Getting that hands-on experience.
Absolutely. It's invaluable experience in microgravity, understanding the challenges.
Yeah.
It feeds directly into preparing for India's own human spaceflight mission. Huge for ISRO, huge for national pride.
It really is. Do we know who's launching him? The provider.
And not specified yet, but these ISS trips often involve international collaboration. NASA, Roscosmos.
Yeah.
It highlights that space exploration is often a team effort.
True. It could even help refine the Gaganyaan timeline, potentially. Okay, let's turn to a legal matter now. The Supreme Court and the Lakh Act.
Right. The court has extended the deadline for the central government. They now have until May 5th, 2025, to respond to petitions challenging the Lakh Amendment Act of 2025.
An extension. What are the core issues being raised in those petitions?
Well, there are concerns about specific provisions. And notably, the court had earlier sort of indicated a pause on implementing certain parts, particularly the concept of walk by user.
Walk by user, meaning how a property can be designated as WAF property just through usage.
That seems to be the crux of that specific concern, yes. It touches on complex issues of property rights and how religious endowments are managed and defined under law.
So this is judicial review in action, essentially. The court's examining legislation passed by Parliament.
Exactly. And you can see the political dimension, too, with opposition parties welcoming the court's move, the stay. It's a sensitive issue.
It definitely highlights the checks and balances in the system. Okay, moving to foreign policy, India's response to Pakistan regarding Kashmir.
Yes, there was a strong rebuttal from India after Pakistan's army chief made remarks about Kashmir being their jugular vein.
India's response.
Consistent and firm. The Ministry of External Affairs reiterated that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral and inalienable part of India, and it's purely an internal matter, no question about it.
That's been India's clear stance for a long time, reasserting sovereignty.
Precisely. It rejects any claims or interference from Pakistan. It's about maintaining that firm diplomatic posture amidst ongoing tensions.
Understood. On a much more positive and cultural note, UNESCO recognition for two ancient Indian texts.
Yes, this is wonderful news. The Bhagavad Gita and the Natya Shastra have been inscribed on the UNESCO memory of the World Asia-Pacific Regional Register.
That's fantastic recognition. The Gita, a cornerstone of Hindu philosophy.
And the Natya Shastra, that ancient foundational text on all performing arts, theater, dance, music. It's incredibly comprehensive.
So their immense cultural and historical significance is being formally acknowledged on a regional platform.
Exactly. And this brings India's total inscriptions on that register up to 14 now. It really helps promote awareness and, crucially, the preservation of these treasures.
That's great to hear. And sticking with international recognition, but shifting to conservation, India is taking a lead role with big cats.
Yes. India is set to host the permanent headquarters of the International Big Cat Alliance, the IBCA.
IBCA. That's the coalition focused on conserving the 7 major big cat species.
That's the one. Tigers, lions, leopards, snow leopards, cheetahs, jaguars, and pumas. And given India's track record, especially with Project Tiger,
it makes sense for India to host. A natural fit.
It really does. It positions India as a leader and will hopefully facilitate much better coordination, knowledge sharing, and capacity building among all the member countries trying to protect these animals.
A very positive development for conservation efforts globally. Now, shifting back to international security concerns, there are reports of U.S. airstrikes in Yemen.
Yes, concerning reports. Targeting an oil port, apparently. Huh? Houthi officials are claiming quite a high number of fatalities, around 38, though independent verification is ongoing.
It just highlights how volatile that situation remains. The Houthi rebels, U.S. involvement.
And the implications for India, even indirectly, are there. Maritime security is a big one.
Yeah.
The Red Sea shipping lanes are vital.
Absolutely. Any disruption there can ripple outwards, affecting trade, energy supplies, potentially even global oil prices.
It's a reminder of how interconnected things are. Okay, back home, let's talk weather. The heat wave isn't letting up in some areas.
No, it seems Rajasthan and Gujarat are still facing severe conditions. And Delhi NCR also had a peak heat day just recently on Friday the 18th.
Yeah, the early summer heat is definitely making itself felt. People need to be careful.
But interestingly, it's not uniform heat everywhere. Parts of eastern India, like West Bengal, are actually expecting thunderstorms and rain.
That highlights the regional variations, doesn't it? While one part swelters, another gets rain, it poses different challenges for water resources, farming, health across the country.
True. On a related note, managing crowds during this summer heat, Central Railway is taking steps in Mumbai and Pune.
Yes, limiting platform tickets. That's pretty standard practice when they anticipate a big rush, like during summer holidays.
Trying to avoid overcrowding on platforms, enhance safety. Makes sense.
And they also announced a mega block for Sunday in Mumbai.
Right, the plan shut down for maintenance work. That'll affect local train services, so commuters need to be aware.
Definitely. Okay, shifting to some concerning crime news out of Delhi.
Yes, sadly. A 17-year-old boy, Kunal Kumar, was stabbed to death in Seelampur, northeast Delhi, on Thursday evening.
Horrible. And there have been local protests, people demanding justice.
Understandably. The police have reportedly detained some individuals, and they're investigating the motive. There are some unconfirmed reports mentioning local criminal elements.
It's a stark reminder of the ongoing challenges with crime and safety in parts of the city.
Indeed. Let's switch to some positive economic news now. India's smartphone exports have hit a new high.
A really impressive figure, 2 lakh crore in just the first 10 months of this fiscal year, 24-25.
Wow. And smartphones are now the single largest export category from India.
That's what the reports say. It's a huge validation for the Make in India initiative, those PLI production-linked incentive schemes.
Definitely showing results. It really positions India as a major and rapidly growing global hub for electronics manufacturing and export.
Absolutely. A significant achievement. However, not all news from the tech and mobility space is positive. There seem to be issues with BlueSmart.
Yes, reports are emerging about significant disruptions in their EV taxi services, maybe even a halt or suspension in some areas.
And drivers are apparently affected. stranded without rides, unclear communication about payments. That sounds quite serious.
It does. The cause isn't entirely clear, but there's speculation it might be linked to financial troubles at the parent company, Gensol Group. There was even mention of a potential SEBI investigation.
That raises questions about the stability of the EV mobility sector. It's still relatively new. And the impact on drivers and users is immediate.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. Also, on the energy front, the government has tweaked its gas allocation policy.
Right. They've revised it to give priority for domestic natural gas supply to the city gas distribution sector, that's CGD.
So the company's providing CNG for vehicles and PNG, the piped gas for homes and businesses?
Exactly. The idea is to ensure a stable supply for those segments, which are seen as cleaner fuel options and are growing in demand.
Okay, but prioritizing them might mean less domestic gas for other sectors, like power plants or fertilizer units.
That's the potential trade-off, yes. It might mean those sectors become more reliant on imported LNG, liquefied natural gas, which can be more expensive.
So a policy aimed at boosting cleaner city gas, but with potential knock-on effects elsewhere in the energy mix.
Precisely. Okay, let's lighten the mood a bit. Sports. IPL 2025 action continues.
Yes. Some recent results. PBKS beat RCB in a rain-shortened match on the 18th.
And before that, MI defeated SRH on the 17th.
So looking at the points table currently, it seems Delhi Capitals and Punjab Kings are doing well, leading the pack.
And today we have Gujarat Titans versus Delhi Capitals, and also Rajasthan Royals versus Lucknow Supergiants.
Plenty of cricket, though there's a bit of an injury worry for RR's captain, Sanju Samson.
Yeah, that's something they'll be monitoring closely. In other sports news, Indian shooters were at the ISSF World Cup in Lima, Peru.
How did they fare recently?
Well, there was an earlier gold in a mixed team event, which was great. But in the more recent 50-meter rifle 3 positions and skeet events, unfortunately no medals for India this time.
Ah, okay. Bit of a drought there.
But on the bright side, success for our younger athletes at the Asian Youth Championships. Shurya Amber got a bronze in the U18 women's 100-meter hurdles.
Excellent.
And Nishay won a silver in the U18 boys shot put. So promising signs from the youth level in athletics.
That's always good to see. Okay, back to some unsettling news. A hoax bomb threat at Kanpur Airport.
Yes, caused quite a bit of panic and disruption, as you expect. Security protocols were activated, flights likely delayed.
All because of a hoax call?
Apparently so. A 21-year-old man was arrested and reportedly confessed it was a prank.
Just irresponsible, causes so much anxiety and wastes resources. He'll face legal consequences, presumably?
You'd certainly think so. Now, an even more disturbing incident reported from Gurugram.
What happened there?
A hospital technician has been arrested for allegedly sexually assaulting a female flight attendant who was admitted as a patient in the hospital.
That's horrifying, especially if she was critically ill. Some reports suggested she might have been on a ventilator.
Yes, those details make it even more appalling. Police apparently used CCTV and interrogations to identify and arrest the suspect.
It raises incredibly serious questions about patient safety, background checks for hospital staff. Just awful.
Truly shocking. Okay, finally, let's end with some entertainment news. A new film release, Kesari Chapter 2.
Ah, the sequel, released on Friday the 18th. What's the focus of this one?
It seems to be centered around the legal challenge to the British narrative of the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. So, a historical legal drama, perhaps.
Interesting approach. How's it doing?
Well, unfortunately, reports suggest the full movie was leaked online very quickly after release.
Oh, dear. That always hurts the box office.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Initial estimates suggest a moderate opening day collection. Other films also released, like Sinners and Paddington in Peru.
Right. A few options out there for moviegoers. Okay, that covers a lot of ground for today.
It certainly does. See you tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe to SamvaadX News Podcast channel and subscribe and hit that bell icon.